Howdy and welcome back. Okay, what I got in front of me is what I thought was maybe one of the scarier absolute value looking problems. So I thought we could do this one together really quick. All right, so first things first, and this is what we talked about in class today. Before I can do anything with this absolute value, look at this, it's trapped. It's trapped by this divide by 10. I need to untrap it. In general, and in more mathy terms, when I am trying to solve an absolute value problem and there's something outside the absolute value, the first thing I need to do is isolate the absolute value. Isolate, that's our magic word today, isolate the absolute value, okay? To get rid of this divide by 10, I'm going to do the opposite. What's the opposite of dividing by 10? Timesing by 10. So I'm going to do times by 10, times by 10. These guys will cancel. And I'll be left with absolute value negative 1 plus n absolute value. And this is an absolute value sign. That's an absolute value sign. Okay, welcome back. Alrighty, and then this will give me 20. Okay, good. Now, what this is telling me is that whatever's in here is 20 spaces from 0. Whatever's in here is 20 spaces from 0. If I look on a number line, here's 0. The thing that's 20 spaces from 0, oh, well, there's 20. Another thing that's 20 spaces from 0 is, oh my gosh, I drew that so poorly. Let me try that again. The other thing that's 20 spaces from 0 is negative 20, meaning that there are two potential things that could be in here. This could give me 20, one option. It could give me negative 20. That's the other option. There are two things that are 20 spaces from 0. One is 20, one is negative 20. So, because we've got two options for what we could have here, we have to solve two equations. So let me reiterate. What's inside the absolute value, since it's 20 spaces away from 0, it could be equal to 20. The other thing that the thing inside the absolute value could be equal to is negative 20. Because there's two things that it could be equal to, we have to solve for both to make sure that we are covering all of our bases. We have to solve for the positive scenario, and we also have to solve for the negative scenario to make sure we're doing it right. Okay. Okay. So, the next part jumps into math that we hopefully are pretty familiar with. I want to get n by itself. What's happening to the n? A negative 1. What's the opposite of negative 1? Adding 1. I'm going to add 1 to both sides of the equal sign. Okay, n equals 21, it looks like. Okay, again, I'm going to come over here. Hopefully this is math we know. What's the opposite of negative 1? Adding 1, adding 1. If you need a calculator, there's no shame in that. I believe the answer to this one's 19, which means that n equals 21 and negative 19. Can you see how, okay, well, if it's negative 20, if it's negative 20 spaces from 0, then n has to be negative 19. If it's 20 spaces from 0, n has to be 21 to make this work. So there's two numbers that could make this work. We just have to make sure we're solving for both of them. Okay, if you need help on this, please let me know. Adios.